Story 1. Life is like a game of chess. I do not know how to play chess. Story 2. 90% of the time I like this whole being single thing. It is so relaxing. 10% of the time I feel very lonely. I wonder why I feel so lonely. I wish I were not so lonely. Story 3. It's a comfortable routine. After all these years alone, I don't know how, as much as I would like to, I could fit someone in there. Story 4. I do what I want when I want as long as I do not have to work, so it is pretty great. Story 5. Kind of sad and alone, but I accept my situation for what it is. Story 6. I am starting to like it recently. I discovered I am good company. Story 7. Not great. 14 years now without even a date. I get 0 matches unless it is people trying to get me to sign up to their OnlyFans or someone trying to get money. I have 0 friends. I live with my parents. It is cheaper to be honest and less lonely, especially with the dog. I have gone to both my sister's weddings alone, saw them both get their own homes, have 2 kids, and seen the eldest grow up and have girlfriends before me. You hear people complaining about going without sex for like a week and think, 14 years, wow. Honestly, I do not know why I am even here anymore. You are meant to have confidence, but after 14 years of rejection, how can anyone expect me to have a shred of it? I am 42. Never had anyone love me before. Had girlfriends before, but all cheated. It makes you feel worthless. Story 8. Calming. Depending on someone else for my happiness is just not right for me. Story 9. For me, it is difficult. Sure, people in relationships have issues. Who does not? But having someone you can love and cherish and share your life with, who also loves and cherishes you, is absolutely priceless. Being alone for too long can and will have an extremely negative impact on your psyche. I know it has for me. Story 10. Being single and experiencing solitude can be addictive, for it is so peaceful and free. Story 11. I used to be very miserable about it, but after dating women for a while, I concluded that I am not missing anything and being alone is better. Story 12. Sometimes lonely but otherwise quite simple and consistent, which is what I truly need right now. Story 13. It is like a roller coaster that is mostly uphill. Sometimes, it is pretty chill, no drama, no obligations, just doing your own thing. You can binge watch whatever you want, eat cereal for dinner, and not worry about someone else's habits. But then there are moments when you miss having someone to share the little things with. It is a mix of freedom and occasional loneliness, but overall, it is not too bad. Plus, it gives you time to focus on yourself and figure out what you really want. Story 14. Chilling. Redoing my lawn. I am obsessed with that right now. I have been talking to guys but getting nowhere as usual. I do not really care. Story 15. So good. I spent a long time chasing women and feeling like something was missing. This year, I quit my job and bought a sailboat. I have been cruising the Aegean Sea with my dog since May, and we picked up an orphaned kitten a few weeks ago. I never feel alone, and I do not even want to bother with dating for the time being. To summarize, if life gets you down, get away. Story 16. Part of me is happy despite never having had a girlfriend at my age, which is a bit of an anomaly for someone my age, 39. The other half is admittedly kind of depressed in a way that I feel like I am missing out. Story 17. The highest highs are mediocre and the lowest lows are devastating. Story 18. Very lonely, honestly. But then again, it is better to be alone than with bad company. The goal, of course, is to find good company, but it is very hard. Story 19. I get to sleep alone in my bed every night for the rest of my life. It is fantastic. Story 20. Feeling pretty lonely, but I do not have breakup or divorce challenges. Story 21. It's okay. There are definitely aspects of having a relationship I miss, and there are aspects I definitely do not miss. I think the thing I miss the most is cuddling up on the couch and watching a television series together. The major aspect I really do not miss is putting on a facade when I really do not want to. I have always fallen into the role in my relationships where I am like the foundational rock, steady and always able to be leaned on. I fixed everyone else's problems for so long that I forgot to fix my own, and it ultimately boiled over to the point where I was burning myself out. At the moment, I enjoy dating casually and working on making myself someone I love again. Story 22. Peaceful, calm, silent, cold, lonely, and often hard. Story 23. Being married for 20 years is a treasure as long as you love each other. Story 24. Pretty good. I am dating casually and enjoying my time with each person. I do what I want when I want. I do not owe anyone an explanation if I want to spend 3 days straight playing video games. I can go camping at a moment's notice and not feel bad. I am not pressured into doing anything I do not really want or need to do. Plus, I get the whole bed to myself and can eat cereal for dinner several nights a week. Story 25. Good. I found out dating is really disappointing in Los Angeles because people are so shallow that it is disgusting. Maybe I will find someone, but for now, I will keep working on myself with the gym and books. Story 26. Great. Working on myself since I broke things off with my now ex-partner. I got an apprenticeship in a legal job and am saving up to move out. Life is great. Story 27. Affordable, simple, peaceful. I can go to dance class and nobody accuses me of cheating. I can go on trips and events by myself and don't have to budget or consider anyone but myself in my plans. I can talk to anyone without being questioned about who or why I was talking to them. I can cook what I want without dealing with picky eaters. I get all my romance from my friends and entertainment and dopamine from my hobbies, interests, and adventures. Girlfriend or boyfriend at this point is usually a negative value, holding me back or just very boring in general. Story 28. Pretty good actually. I think if you are someone who cannot be happy without being with someone, then you have a problem. Story 29. Life without a girlfriend or boyfriend is pretty relaxed. You get more time to focus on yourself, your work, and your hobbies. Sometimes it might feel lonely, but it is also a good time to grow and enjoy life as it is. Story 30. The nights are lonely, but that is really only when it hits me. Every other time is fine. Story 31. Peaceful. But I still get that I need a boyfriend thought once in a while. Laugh out loud. Story 32. Perfect. I have a lot more money and time to myself. Best of all, I have made new friends with similar interests and tastes, so I do not feel like I am wasting my time with people I have nothing in common with. I love the total freedom I have gained to do what I want, when I want. I do not know if I will change my mind, but right now I would not compromise any part of my life for a relationship. Story 33. Such peace. I hear about my friends and their relationship drama, high-maintenance partners, constant stress, and so on. It makes me appreciate the value of just being by yourself. I have absolutely no plans to change my relationship status. Dating these days is a minefield, and I am not walking through it unless it becomes worth it. Right now, it very much is not worth it. Story 34. Pretty okay. The simplicity is nice. I very much enjoy doing what I please whenever, and it has very little impact on anyone else. On the other hand, some days conversing with my dogs does not provide the human interaction I might be craving. It would be fun to have a partner join me on camping trips as well. It gets lonely at times, but that is usually short-lived. The dating pool is pretty small in my rural community, unfortunately. I stay for the low cost of living. If a dog-loving camping partner does come along, kudos. For the time being, life is not bad. Story 35. Materially, it's fine. At an emotional level, not fine. It's hard to find that sweet spot of someone who is responsible as an adult, communicates well, and enjoys being around another person. It's like women are Pokemon, and when they hit level 28, they go from a Wiseroth to a Slaking. Can I get a Pikachu girl? Story 36. Also peaceful, but the grass is greener over there. I know it is. Story 37. Overall, it's good. No drama, it's quiet, and I have more money. Don't get me wrong, a companion would be nice, but sadly, in my experience, having a companion has been a net negative. Story 38. It's okay. I'm lonely sometimes, but my wife helps a little. Story 39. Honestly, it's pretty nice. I only really feel lonely or experience any negative emotions if I overthink being in a relationship. Life is pretty good otherwise. I am working towards my dreams, so I cannot complain. Story 40. Peaceful. Sometimes lonely but peaceful, and you cannot put a price on that. Story 41. Fantastic, cheerful opening and free without commitment. I think every one of us needs time for the soul. Story 42. I feel lonely very often, and I am quite heartbroken because I got cheated on again recently. He was my first love. Story 43. To be honest, there are times I miss having a go-to person who would listen to you, appreciate you, give you reassurance when needed, or just be there for you when you need. But when I really miss this, I take a nap and then realize that I have a bed to myself and can unapologetically sleep as much as I want. Moreover, there is no one to disturb me while I am sleeping by twisting and turning, hypnic jerks, or snoring. I am sure there are no calls coming my way. I can put my phone on silent, and no one will care even if I do not pick up. This thought calms me down to the next level and makes me thankful for not having a girlfriend or boyfriend in my life. I know this sounds lame, but at least according to me, being able to sleep peacefully without any disturbance is a blessing. Story 44. Pretty nice, actually. You do not have to deal with other people's problems and can do whatever you want. For those who say they are lonely at night or miss cuddles, you can get a dog or a cat. Story 45. It is freaking awesome. After more than my share of relationships where I bought into their vision and life, I am working on finally building my own life. This and realizing there is not one single way where a woman could make my life better. Not one way. Story 46. 1 month out of a devastating breakup, and I can say the highs are not as high, but the lows are not as low. I am enjoying the stability. Everything is just simpler. Story 47. Simple, easy, a little bit lonely. My former friends got into relationships, and the word former already tells you how much time they spent with their friends after that. But life without a boyfriend or girlfriend is pretty relaxing. Story 48. Every day I am grateful I am not on the dating scene. Going on dates was too exhausting. Story 49. Pretty good. I work on my car, I can do many things by myself, and I don't need to change my personality when I am somewhere for the first time. But I really have those moments when I just think, damn, when will it happen? I have never had a girlfriend in my life, not even as a kid. I am 17 now, and I am starting to think, damn, maybe it isn't them, it's me. But you can never know. Story 50. Pretty alright. Makes the constant strange questions on this subreddit even more annoying though. Story 51. Lonely at times, but I am able to do what I want without worrying about someone else for once. And that is a nice freedom. I tend to put other people's needs before my own. Something I am working on in case a potential relationship ever does come along. Story 52. Sometimes I am content. Sometimes I am sad and lonely and wish I had a partner who is there for cuddles and emotional support. Story 53. I am severely unhappy, but that is not because I lack significant others in my life now. Story 54. Better to be single than to be with a life partner who treats you poorly. I prefer to stay like this until I find that person who knows how to treat someone well. Rare but not impossible. Story 55. Good. My friend tries to show off with his girlfriend as if it is impressive. Story 56. Peaceful. I do not have to deal with a woman's narcissism. I can play video games whenever I want. I have my own game room with a pool table, air hockey table, foosball, claw machine, arcade cabinets, a restaurant-style booth with a table and thousands of games. I could not have any of this amazing stuff if I had a girlfriend. All I would have is needless responsibility. Story 57. Amazing, to be honest. I don't feel ready to be attached to someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I am still young, and I want to live life, experience things, travel, and do that alone. Story 58. Simple, you can care only about yourself and do what you want at any time. Story 59. Great. I am happily married to my loving wife and expecting a baby soon. Story 60. I dislike being single, but I am convinced at this point that a good, honest, decent man who wants a relationship and not just a casual hookup does not exist. Men like that are a myth, a fairy tale we tell ourselves to comfort our sadness and loneliness. Real men like that do not exist unless they are already married or taken in some way. Story 61. Not bad. I have not had a girlfriend in over 24 years. If I did, I think my wife would get mad. Story 62. I am good by myself. I cannot really imagine being in a relationship right now. Story 63. It is cool, but thinking about it makes you kind of sad sometimes. Story 64. It can be lonely, especially if you have no friends in real life. However, all that free time also gives you the opportunity to prepare for what is coming next. Story 65. Good. Trying to build good habits and become a healthier, happier version of myself. Story 66. On the one hand, very miserable and lonely. On the other hand, very flexible and allowing for a bit of spontaneity. Story 67. I frequently get down about it like I always have, but I don't let it stop me from achieving everything else I want to achieve. Friends, sometimes in life you have to reassess where your mental effort and limited time are spent, and put all of that into things you actually have control over. I gave up on putting any effort into becoming not single or even thinking about how much I want to become not single, so I can spend that effort somewhere I actually have a chance. Story 68. It is honestly great. People take their alone time for granted so much. Yes, I want a girlfriend because I want to be loved, but I am not used to having someone else with me while I am doing things I normally do alone. Story 69. Cover zesty air sauce and chunky truck apparatus tidy meeting. Story 70. My refrigerator just broke. An event I was looking forward to was canceled, and an old injury of mine is starting to hurt again. I am not in the best of moods. Story 71. Simpler. The juice wasn't worth the squeeze. Now I see someone arguing with his girlfriend and think I made the right choice when I gave it up. Story 72. Hate it and wish I was never born. Not because of this, though it contributes somewhat. Story 73. I get to sleep on my own schedule, stretch out on my bed with all the blankets to myself, and have peace and quiet when my social energy is depleted. My finances don't have to account for someone else. Meanwhile, I go to work every day and listen to others complaining about their girlfriends or why their boyfriends are oblivious. I am comfortable and content, and I see nothing a relationship could provide that isn't already covered by good friends and a good sex toy. Story 74. I went to a party last night with one of my friends. He was talking to women, and I was so drunk I slept on a bench. 2 guys stole his girlfriend, and I bought some trumpet cake. Life is good. Story 75. Better without my ex. Not going to lie, I love not being under any pressure. Story 76. Life has been pretty good so far. However, there have been many days when I wish I had a girlfriend, or better yet, a wife. I have been longing for companionship, especially now that I am in my mid-40s. Story 77. Do not have a girlfriend or boyfriend, have an online lover, and it is brilliant. Story 78. Excellent. I was married for 22 years until I caught my wife having an affair. Filed for divorce that day and booted her to the curb. After the smoke cleared and the assets were split, I decided to take a year to work on myself. Since then, I have dropped almost 100 pounds by eating right and going to the gym for 2 hours a day. I am healthier than I was in my 20s and have become comfortable in my own loose-hanging skin. I got back into church and reconnected with all my old friends who disliked my wife. I date some but most likely will not ever do the marriage route again. However, if I find a partner who meets or exceeds the criteria I have set, then who knows? I have learned a lot about myself and what to avoid in future relationships. If you cannot be happy by yourself, you will most likely not be happy with someone else. It is important to work on what makes you happy and what brings happiness and purpose to your own life before trying to get into a long-term relationship. That is just me, and everyone is different. I just live the best life I can by staying in the present and not worrying about the past or future. I cannot change the past, and the future will work itself out. Great men are forged in fire. It is the privilege of cheating ex-wives to light the flame. Story 79. I am okay with being single. I am not lonely and have not experienced any sorrow being single since my 20s. The other factors in my life concern me much more, such as living paycheck to paycheck. Story 80. It is both fun and unfortunate. Fun because I do not have to give time to another person, call them even when I do not want to, or engage in conversations when I would like some alone time. Unfortunate because it gets sad on a free weekend when one wants to hang out and relax. Also, it is nice to kiss, cuddle, and maybe go grocery shopping with someone. Story 81. I feel miserable because I do not have any friends, and my family lives very far away, so I am all alone. I used to not really care because I liked being alone, but recently I have been really wishing I had a friend. I also still live with my parents while attending college and do not have my own car, so I am struggling. Story 82. Dating is very frustrating. It is really hard to find people without paying around $40 a week, and everyone I find behaves poorly. Story 83. The compiler notifies me about an error on line 234. She gave me many warnings before, but I did not listen. Now I need to debug the situation so we can resolve the issue. Until the next error, because that is how relationships are. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Story 84. My long-term partner cheated on me. I kicked him out of the house and am currently living alone. Not gonna lie, I am really enjoying it. Story 85. I've been single since 2017. I was happy to finally be comfortable in my own skin and not feel like I needed validation by having a partner. That worked for a while. I now really want to find a best friend and romantic partner, but I am terrible at doing that. I know I won't be alone forever. I know I will find someone eventually. I just hope it's not a situation where I look at her and think, yes, this is the best that I can do. Story 86. It's all right. My main sources of comfort are my friends, television shows, and other things, but there are many things I miss about being in a relationship, you know? I do enjoy not having responsibilities at least, but it is difficult when all of my friends are entering relationships, and it feels like I am a fifth wheel. Story 87. Sometimes I find myself wanting a partner to share things with. Other days, I wake up grateful that I am single because my life is completely my own. Story 88. Extremely lonely. Social media algorithms showing me happy couples repeatedly do not help at all. Story 89. I just completed the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise in 1 week, except for the titles not available on Steam. Story 90. Great. Do what I want when I want and sleep with whoever will let me. Story 91. Peaceful but lonely. Lonely but peaceful. I cycle between both. Story 92. It's what I need. My last relationship was a dead end, so I need time to reflect on my part in what caused that. I need time to heal emotionally, but I also want to enjoy the freedom and autonomy of my life. Story 93. I love my family, my friends, and my hobbies. I just got a promotion at work today. I paid off my car this month. Everything is not perfect, but I am excited about having a girlfriend in the future. I have a simple life that she will become a part of, and I am excited to become a part of her life. Until then, life is good. Story 94. Thanks for asking, good soul of God. 39 years old, male, currently single. Absolutely incredible, to be honest. Life is the dancer. I am the dance. Have a beautiful, blissful, joyful, peaceful day. Story 95. No girlfriend and haven't dated in years. Just found out I am losing my job. I decided to move back in with my parents since I cannot afford this high rent while jobless. Yes, doing great. Story 96. Not as lonely as I thought. The first 5 years were the hardest. Story 97. I would not know. I get a connection with low latency. I do not like giving Google my money, but it is a great product. Story 98. Fine, honestly. I haven't dated anyone in 8 or 9 years. I have had hookups and friends with benefits, but I have actively turned down dating. Life is simpler, and I have a good support system of friends and family. It's just not something that I feel like I am missing out on. Really? Story 99. It's great. I love it, and I love living alone. When I first became single, I started dating girls from various dating apps. Most of the time, they were taken. Many were even married. This made me not want to be in a relationship anymore, and now I certainly don't believe in marriage. Many people cheat too much. Story 100. Completely fine as long as I do not have someone talking in my ear about how lonely it is. But then it can be lonely. Story 101. Drama-free and chill. I get my emotional needs met by my family and friends, and my physical needs for touch and cuddling, along with the need to take care of something, are fulfilled by my cat and dogs. At this point, I honestly don't see myself dating because I have no need for a partner. Maybe financial, but I could always just get a normal roommate. Story 102. I have been single for almost 5 months now after a 2.5-year relationship. It has been pretty great. I have been reconnecting with my family and getting sober. It has been mostly positive, but the loneliness is starting to set in. Story 103. It can be tiring from all the partying. My old friends all have children, so I had to find new and younger ones. In the summer, there are many salsa and bachata parties, and this week I have been going out every day. There is an endless supply of beautiful women wanting to dance with someone who knows how to dance. Story 104. Kind of boring, but I am definitely not ready to be in a relationship again, so I am enjoying it. Story 105. Pretty awesome. I focus a lot on myself and working so I can get through school one semester at a time. Story 106. Life is good. I have not had a girlfriend in 18 years. My wife does not much care for it. Story 107. Pretty great. There is one guy I really like, but he is not open to it, so I am trying to move on. I think everyone should learn to be happy alone at some point in life. Story 108. I am 42 years old and have been single for 8 years after the divorce, but I have never been alone. I talked to women and tried dating, but it is only this year that I started dating on a full scale. Now it seems harder to go back to taking other people's plans into account. It is good to be in a relationship when you are with a good person. If you struggle, just be single. It is also great. Story 109. I have been listening to the same sad song for the past 2 hours. Story 110. You know it's lonely, but then I realized that I would rather be this way than chasing someone who isn't worth my time. After going through a difficult couple of months facing COVID, suddenly losing my dad, and discovering that my girlfriend, also my friend of over 22 years, had been cheating on me and living a double life while hiding it from friends and family, I think I am good for a while. I have been focusing on myself, working on changing my career, and going back to school, so I am keeping busy. I feel there is a light in the darkness, and it will take time and effort to reach it. I see happiness returning, and I am laughing more as the days go by. Story 111. New. Have been in a relationship for more than 6 years and broke up 2.5 weeks ago. Story 112. Busy. Because I have a lot of time to spend, I am very tired. Story 113. Perfect. I was in a relationship for 12 years. It is nice not to have to take care of someone or have expectations. Story 114. Life is great without emotional pain. I have been in relationships before, but I have come to terms with the fact that relationships are not for me. Story 115. Me every day. Girl, do not be sad. You were made to smile and to make others smile. The sun is coming, and it will be a sweet arrival. Everything will be fine. Story 116. Overall, it's fine, but I do miss good morning and good night texts. Also, watching a movie together. Story 117. Lonely as can be. I wish I had a traveling partner to go on trips with. Story 118. I confessed to this girl I liked yesterday. She said no, but we are still friends. I do not know. I am just trying not to cry in university lectures right now. Assignments and exams are due in 3 weeks. I do not know how I am going to pull through. Story 119. Doing all right. A little lonely, but I am doing my best trying to start a 3-dimensional printing business. Story 120. It is unfortunate, but it is mostly unrelated to being single. I would like to know what a healthy relationship is like before I die, but that will not happen. Story 121. I have been girlfriendless for a while. I am starting to date again because it is difficult being alone all the time. Just like with anything else, there are benefits and drawbacks. Story 122. Life is good. No problems whatsoever. I do not want to experience the painful feeling of heartbreak ever again. Story 123. I broke up with my girlfriend about a year ago. I returned the ring, the whole thing. She was my soulmate from hell. I miss her more with each passing day. I mourn the time we don't get to spend together. The mornings lost not waking up in each other's arms. The children we won't have together. The memories we won't make. But we're just not right for each other. And love is not enough. I want to chase her, but she told me not to. I suspect I could get her back, maybe, but we would just drag each other down more. I want to let her move on. Loving her is like an ocean, and I am drowning so she can float. It has not been hard at all to find good-looking women to sleep with since we broke up. So I guess that is nice. Story 124. It used to really bother me, but now I generally care. I'm married to my passions, and I have beautiful baby bunnies and kitties I am taking care of. Story 125. No girlfriend. Wife and 2 children though. Young children. Life is wonderfully amazing and insufferably suffocating all at the same time. I exaggerate, but not really. Story 126. In a slump, so not great. Not sure if trying for a girlfriend is the best idea, but it might be something to do. Story 127. It is disappointing, but I no longer have to secretly watch videos in bed to help me sleep. Also, I am currently making just enough to pay rent, so I should focus on improving that before changing my relationship status. Story 128. Pretty good. I prefer being single rather than settling for any relationship just to avoid being single. I have tried to continue in relationships where I was not fully happy and ended up feeling bad for the other person for wasting their time and not liking them as much as they liked me. Singleness is preferable. Story 129. My life is honestly going pretty great in basically every aspect. I have lost weight over the past year and a half and started to live much healthier overall. My career has improved in the past few years as well. My family is great. However, there are definitely moments when it hurts to have no one to share certain moments or experiences with. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.